Thank you and welcome from one orange to the other. The SEC on ESPN and Knoxville, Tennessee. In spite of frigid temperatures, shirts optional for a showdown between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama atop the SEC at 4-0. Tennessee has got one loss. This should be a barn burner. Two terrific offenses with a great defense in Tennessee. And great news for Kentucky and its fans. Zvonimir Ivisic has been cleared to play and should be available if Calipari wants to use him in tonight's game against Georgia. Many great games in the SEC schedule. That's Jimmy Dykes. I'm Carl Ravitch. Welcome. This one should be great as well. But man, the top of this conference may have gotten a little more tougher with that news.
Well, this league is loaded. There's 3 or 4 legitimate national title contenders. Tennessee and Alabama are 2 of them out of this league. And Alabama right now, they come in a high-powered offense, man. They're going to really test a juggernaut defensive squad of Tennessee. The concern for Alabama is this: connect the dots. It's Dalton Knecht right now, playing as well as anybody Ravi in college basketball. You look at his numbers, think about this. He has scored 101 points in the past 99 minutes that he's played.
That's a point a minute.
That is a point a minute. My math is good, and I believe it is. But this kid is excellent right now. And how Rick Barnes is using him, his versatility just strikes you, man, when you break him down on film. The corner threes are there, that high rise, release, and rotation from a 6'6" guard. Then you can invert him and post him up. They throw it inside, let him get to the bucket as well off these hard drives. He has such a long, strong, forceful, hard to get to reach at the rim. And Dalton Knecht right now playing like an All-American.
Last 3 games, 103 total points. And only a second-team All-Big Sky last year. And not a first or second team preseason All-SEC, and he's in the running for Player of the Year. Crimson Red, that's Mark Sears with the ball. Hurt his ankle late in his last game. Good sign to see him on the floor. And Grant Nelson goes to work against Josiah Jordan-James, who was dealing with the flu yesterday, but is in the starting lineup. Rylan Griffin, his first 3 is short. And a loose ball on the floor, grabbed by Estrada, and he is tied up. And the arrow will point to the home team, Volunteers. 13-4, 3-1 overall in conference is Tennessee. Both of these teams are in the top 10 in KenPom. Knecht has been the scoring superstar, but both the first and second half of their last game were led by Jonas Aidoo in his scoring.
And a monster matchup at the point guard spot today between Mark Sears and Zakai Ziegler. Ziegler, one of, if not the best on-ball defenders in college basketball. Sears averaging 20 points a game.
Let's see if Aidoo can get started again, just like he did the last game, and he banks one in. His scoring is up this year. His confidence is up this year. As we take a look at the Alabama starting 5, Sears leads the conference in scoring. Nelson is their big guy who can stretch you a little bit, but he's going to have his hands full with Aidoo, and that ball is off of Sears. It'll be Tennessee's basketball.
Rav, you talk about Aidoo. He's averaging 13 points over the last 11 ball games. And this is a kid that Rick Barnes now will play call for to set the rules of the game early. Expect Tennessee to go back inside in this ball game.
Yeah, they love Vescovi penetrating, stopping, and then finding an open man. And Knecht, for all his scoring, is a huge streak shooter. He gets it going, and he can fill it up to the tune of 10, 20 points in mere seconds. And there is the leader of this team, Rick Barnes, 9th year here at Tennessee. He was telling us stories about George Mason and Clemson and Providence. Wide open Knecht. Short on his first 3.
And if you're Alabama, how can you let him sprint into a wide open 3 off that baseline out of bounds under?
Pringle, he was caught with a double dribble. Second turnover of the game already for Alabama. Remember last year, Nate Oates had Brandon Miller on his team, obviously, and he turned out to be the 2nd overall pick in the draft, and Tennessee shut him down. He was 4 of 11. See how effective they are against a guy like Sears today, leading the league in scoring at 20 a game. James for a shot, no good. Rebound to Knecht, and a loose ball picked up by Ziegler. Here's Vescovi. Splash.
A lot of weapons, right? A lot of weapons. And Alabama comes in shooting 42% from the 3. They rely on it more than Tennessee, but Tennessee can knock it down as good as anyone in this league.
Yeah, and Jimmy, those are 2 wide open 3s. Knecht missed one. Vescovi knocked his in inside. A foul on Vescovi, and Nick Pringle will go to the free throw line, finish off a 3-point play.
Ravi, Santi Vescovi is the 10th player in the history of the SEC with over 300 made threes. And you get dialed in on Connect and Ziegler, and you forget about this guy in the corner. And Tennessee, a good shooting team because they're a very good passing team, would describe Alabama the same way.
It's almost like Vescovi's tapping everyone on the shoulder to remind you, like,
Yeah.
I know all about Dalton and what he does, and Zakai and Adu. He's a terrific shooter. Pringle knocks down a one-handed free throw, and it's 5-3 early.
Zakai Ziegler should test that ankle of Sears. Trying to drive him right now on the offensive end early.
Griffin is a very good defensive player, and he gets the Connect assignment. James passes that one up, and Vescovi with a ball fake and the drive and a high flying left-handed layup.
All set up by the shot fake of Vescovi. That's what makes him a step and a half faster than he really is.
Bad pass, it's tipped away. Third turnover for Alabama. Vescovi not there. Kept alive, and it's James. Ziegler the hard take. That one is denied by Pringle. And they say Estrada stayed in bounds. Estrada, very good three-level scorer. Here he takes it into the paint. That's pretty.
Yeah, he's got all the moves, man. He's got a lot of stuff in his bag of tricks. Estrada does. I mean, he and Sears, you could argue, as good of a combo scoring guard play that you have in college ball right now.
Good hands. It's deflected to Tennessee. Zakai Ziegler, high arcing three, finds the bottom.
They make 8 a game, does Tennessee, at 33%. So they add that to their ability to punch the ball inside on the paint and on the glass. Man, are they a tough cover.
Good bounce pass. Pringle, that's good body work as he laid it up and in over Adu. Just what you'd expect, two teams that can fill it up. Adu deep. Fade away, no good. Another rebound ripped down. And Josiah Jordan-James draws the foul against Alabama.
A force on the glass is Josiah Jordan-James and his Tennessee team. And Adu, he loves that left block. He's got the little left-handed jump hook, but he's also got their turnaround. Watch Adu. This is his honey hole on that left side. And Rick Barnes is okay with a little bit of a fadeaway, but you've got to check Josiah Jordan-James. Hit first, find ball second.
That foul was on Nelson. Vescovi comes out of the game, so does Adu. Into the game is Jemai Meshak for Tennessee and Tobe Owaka.
The threat off out of bounds is always Dalton Connect.
There he is, double screen. Owaka floored the guy that was coming to guard Connect. He takes it up again. He is 0 for 3 to start the game. And it's taken away by Alabama.
Yeah, he has missed wide open looks so far in this game, Connect.
Mohamed Diabate is into the game. He wears 10, so is Latrell Wrightsell. He's 12 for Alabama. Bad pass and another turnover. Alabama in the first 5 minutes has turned it over 4 times against one of the top defenses in the nation.
Connect struggling a little bit early, but what does Tennessee have? They got multiple weapons. Look at Vescovi drive that ball, get it up on the glass. And Adu, Josiah Jordan-James, they are crashing the glass. Little double Z set.
There was some concern about Mark Sears off of their last game against Missouri. Right there, he came down on his ankle awkwardly, and he missed the end of that game. The end of the game got a little shaky too as far as emotions, Nate Oates and Aiden Shaw and pushing. But there was some concern about getting Sears back for this huge game, and if you didn't get him back, that's what you'd be missing. Hard to imagine they'd be competitive without that guy. He is their leader in every which way.
Well, think about this. He's the only Power 5 player in the country, Ravi, with 330 points, 40 made threes, 60 assists, and 65 rebounds. That's the versatility of this kid. If you're going to test his ankle, you drive him as a defender, and then you see where he is driving the ball as well. So far, my eyes tell me Mark Sears is 100%. That's what he told me before the game.
Yeah, he's not lying. Scored 35 this year in a game against Purdue. Connect looking for his first points of the day. There they are. He found the bottom there. He went one-on-one with Wrightsell. And it matches their largest lead, up by 5.
Ravi, he's too big. That mismatch that he has at that big 2 guard level. Rick Barnes moves him all over the floor to capitalize on it.
Once that cover comes off for him, that basket gets a little bit bigger. Good shooter into the game, Sam Walters, 24 in crimson. Sears, that's blocked by Awaka. He ran out of room. And numbers here for Tennessee. Ziegler, bounce pass, connect. There you go. Couple of buckets in the last 30 seconds.
One of the better cutters in the SEC is Dalton Knecht. More than a jump shooter, more than a post-up guy, more than a driver. Man, can he see the game one pass ahead.
Sears trying again, and how about the relationship that's developing? Every time Ziegler penetrates, Knecht will cut to the basket. 10 on the shot clock for Alabama, trying to get on track here. And they get it to Sears. And a good hands there by Ziegler to knock it loose. Another turnover. Knecht wants it. He's feeling it. He's driving against Walters. No good there. And the foul is going to be against Awaka on the offensive end.
You know, Dalton Knecht can get as hot as anyone at the college level right now. I love the isolation play that Rick Barnes comes to the after timeout to get him going as a scorer with a mismatch. And there's the cut that I'm talking about. Those are violent scoring cuts by Knecht out of the deep corner.
Knecht may have banged up that left leg of his a little bit. He's a little gimpy walking back to cover Walters. There are two terrific shooters right now, standing about 2 feet apart. Walters was the first player to commit to Alabama in 23. Good height, good dribbler, and a terrific shooter, and they need that right now, down 7. Too much dribbling. Estrada goes behind his back. A lot of one-on-one. Great defense by Mashack. He takes it away.
Beautiful defensive series by Tennessee. No one opened up their hips, stayed squared on the ball, forced the turnover.
Adu, the drive, the left-handed layup. Defense to offense for Tennessee. And up by 9, and the crowd all dressed in orange on their feet.
Rep, you've got to guard the ball against Alabama. If you can't guard the ball, you can't guard their threes. And Tennessee locked in early, sticking their nose on the number.
Alabama hasn't scored in over 3 minutes. Knecht penetrates. Blocked that time. Really good help defense by Diabate. He goes the other way, runs into Mashack and lays it up and in.
Good job by Diabate to take one more step and get his body so you couldn't get to his ball.
Adu no, Adu the follow.
I love the effort, the heart, the Valentine that Adu plays with right now. Has phenomenal conditioning, played the entire second half at Georgia last Saturday. You can't take him out of the game.
Rapid fire pace, tempo on both teams. They like to shoot it and shoot it quick. And there he is from the corner. We talked about him. Walters knocks it down.
He is a specialist, like a field goal kicker. And you've got to test his toughness, make him do something with that basketball besides stroke it.
They got Knecht open. He will fire. Count it. Knecht holds up 3 fingers, and now he has got 7.
The timing of the circle cut off of Adu's screen was to perfection by Knecht.
Adu with a block, and Terry Oglesby, one of our 3 officials, blew the whistle. That'll be 2 free throws.
This is a kid, I'm reminding you, has scored 101 points in his last 99 minutes played, number 3 in white. Watch him work off this screen, different speeds, boom, boom. I mean, that's a setup speed and then a violent cut to get open. Man, he just gets it off so quick. This is a kid. Ravi, the great players don't spend more time in the gym than anyone else. They spend more time in the gym with a plan, and that's how Knecht attacks it 9, 10 o'clock at night in Thompson Bowling Arena.
First free throw is missed. Grant Nelson, a North Dakota State transfer, had a season-high 24 against Morehead State, coming off a game in which he had 21 against Missouri. Shoots the free throws at about an 87% clip, and that was the first foul against Adu.
Nelson is, as he checks out, Nelson is a player more than a position. Now, 6'11" kid Nelson has operated 30 times as the pick-and-roll handler. A lot of versatility now on the bench for Alabama.
Knecht goes to the bench too. Vescovy is into the game, and he is joined by Jordan Gainey as well. Barnes goes 8-9 deep. They left Ziegler open. His 3. too strong, and Pringle, who came in for Nelson, rips it down.
Alabama third in the country, Ravi, in terms of the amount of shots they take the first 10 seconds of a possession. Tennessee has to be aware of it.
Meshack just got blown up by that screen. Loose ball picked up. Whoa, what a pass! Behind the back, but nowhere for Diabate to go. Turnover for Tennessee. Estrada launches. That's short. And out of bounds was Diabate on the baseline. Weitzel, I should say. How's the pace right now?
I love it. NASCAR, all gas, no brakes. Dalton Connect again. The rise, release, and rotation. Best you have.
I thought he laid out a nice day for people. You start with Baylor, Texas. That was a 2-point win for Texas. You come right here, you follow orange with orange and this intensity. Then you go into that 4:30 football game on ABC, and you're kind of good. It's so cold around so many parts of the country. Let's just light a fire, get your dogs. I know you like the dogs, Rue Pig, and then you're watching ball.
I'm sure Rocket and Rue are dialed in right now
Without
back in Arkansas watching this. How about the game before us? A buzzer beater, right?
Yep.
By Syracuse to take down Miami.
Good games so far. And great games the rest of the day and night, too. 21-13, fast start for Tennessee. And this guy's been a part of it. Vescovy gets planted in the paint, so he gives it to Adu. That's unstoppable.
That's that left hook I was calling for. I think Tennessee's offense is at their best when Vescovy is playing off of 2 feet in the paint, and it's very difficult to keep him out of the painted area.
He leads the way with 8. Connect has 7. I wonder about Sears' ankle still. That looked like it was a little hesitant to go to his right. And they've been crushed by turnovers. Good handoff there, but Sears couldn't control it. And another turnover. Jimmy, they got 7 turnovers.
Well, Ravi, Tennessee's defense is switching, but they're switching out high and hot, giving no airspace at all. And there's that dump down from Vescovy. Once he gets to that logo area, he starts playing off at 2 feet, starts spraying the ball around. Man, that's when Tennessee, so tough to handle.
And there are the numbers for him. You see how they have risen. He has put on a lot of muscle and worked on that offensive game. He scored 13 or more 6 times this year, and prior to this had only done it twice. And he's well on his way again.
There's the Vescovy again in the paint. That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's a bigger problem when you get it to that guy. It's too easy.
And Vescovy, he's just too good of a passer. You know, we talk a lot about passers on the perimeter. He's phenomenal passing inside around the bigs.
Ooh, Sears slipped right there and fell. That's a travel. And turnover number 8.
Sears wants to get to that left paw, man. He fights to get to that left side off the bounce. Tennessee right now forcing him to that right.
Again, we talked about they did the same thing to Miller last year at the defense of Tennessee. One of the tops in the country when it comes to the Ken Palm ratings and defensive efficiency, but now that's 9 total turnovers. Couple that with Tennessee, who's made 4 of their last 5 shots. A couple from Adu in the paint. And you got a 12-point lead. It's going to be a hold on Griffin as Vescovy was trying to get free on the baseline.
Well, Rick Barnes sees something with Santi Vescovy offensively. And he's the playmaker right now. Now, he's not playing up top as a traditional point. He's actually playing a baseline point position for Tennessee in their offense. Unique, hard to guard, and effective.
And a quick 3 off the inbounds, no good from Vescovy. Where's Alabama going to get their points from if Sears is unable to get free? Who else can score?
Watch Tennessee's defense, Ravi. They are up on that 3-point line. And they get picked off, man. They're blitzing that ball, making life miserable for the visitors from Tuscaloosa early.
Sears penetrates. Where you're going. As Adu came down, so did Sears. And a whistle blows underneath, and that'll be 2 free throws for Sears.
But I love the forceful drive by Sears because the offense has been all around the perimeter, and Sears finally says, enough of this. I've got to force myself into this game. He gets to that left paw, and you're driving right around Meshack, which is not easy to do.
Adu got him with a body. You can see it right there. Good replay. And that is the 2nd personal on Jonas Adu. So for the first time, we'll see J.P. Estrella come into the game for Tennessee. Sears misses a free throw. It's a terrific free throw shooter at 83%. The frustration on the Adu 2nd foul was more about the 1st foul.
It was.
Because that was what we just saw, a definite foul.
This kid at the free throw line, Mark Sears, if you're looking at early SEC Player of the Year race, It's Dalton Knecht, it's Mark Sears, Janai Broome from Auburn, and Antonio Reeves from Kentucky. Those four guys, to me, have kind of separated themselves from the pack, although we're just, 10, 12, 14 days in, whatever it is.
Yeah, and you've got a chance to see all of them, and you'll see those teams in action now and later. Kentucky, Georgia, big game tonight. Alabama's made 3 of their 5 free throw attempts. Knecht back into the game with the ball. Got a height advantage here. And he's got a great fadeaway instead of jump hook off the window.
That's just unguardable because he's got the height advantage to begin with, and then how much pop he has in his release. You cannot get to his shot.
Good pass to Estrada. That should be an easy one, and it was. Jaron Stevenson, his first bucket of the night.
Weak side defense completely hugged up and allowed an easy one for Stevenson.
Sears, Vescovi is getting the low screen, and everybody's trying to run with him. Second foul on an Alabama player.
Look at all the traffic that Rick Barnes puts Knecht in to work off of, and from here, just read the defense, boom, up and over. And if you're Alabama, you have not double-teamed Knecht one time yet. When he goes to that isolation low block, you may have to rethink it.
That was Sears' first foul. Knecht has several inches right now on Weitzel, and he's trying to back him down again. They'll kick corner. Gainey got it.
That's a big shot now. Gainey came in as a sniper and has not found his groove, but this is a kid that can also get hot, make 3 or 4 threes in a game.
Shooting just 27% from three-point land. Ziegler that time. Watch Sears from the back.
You've got to win your individual battle at times against Tennessee. Sears just did.
Tennessee shooting 52% from the floor. Alabama is even better at 53, and there's a rare turnover after Gainey knocked the 3 down. A little bit of a lazy pass. Tough shot, foul, and free throws coming up. Jaron Stevenson will go to the free throw line. Our featured women's basketball matchup tomorrow afternoon. You get a chance to watch number 10 LSU, Angel Reese and Company. They will host Arkansas at the Maravich Center in Baton Rouge. That coverage starts at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. Vescovi has just picked up his second. That's a young kid here, Stevenson, shooting a free throw. He was the #1 power forward in 2024 and then reclassified. So he went from being the #1 power forward in 24 to being the number 41 ranked overall power forward as he commits and comes to play for Alabama.
Yeah, he's a good talent. The North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year out of Chapel Hill Seaforth High School. His mom played at North Carolina. And one of the best nuggets I saw in the notes, size 19 shoes. Size 19.
You literally could get into that and float down the Tennessee River. Rue could get into that and float down the river.
If it wasn't frozen, you could, absolutely.
Tennessee hasn't attempted a free throw. Alabama has shot 7 of them. Gainey again, good take, and he will end up shooting 2. We've been at Tennessee for about a week now, it feels like, with back-to-back games. The snow, but I'm not certain, Jimmy. I think we can get a boat. I think we can get a boat, we can get shoes, we can get Rue. We can take a ride in the not-so-way-back machine. February 15th of last year right here in Knoxville. Of course, Brandon Miller was the star for Alabama, but Ziegler and Vescovi ended up with 15 points. Adu did go for a double-double with 12 and 11. And again, they held Miller to 4 for 11 shooting, and Tennessee won at 68-59. 6th win in 7 games against top 10 teams. We have an orange out here. The last orange out for Tennessee was actually a football game against Alabama in 2022. 4-3 at home since 2010, and the games have been pretty close. You can see that 4 have been decided by 5 or less. In fact, the last 6 games between these two teams have been decided by single digits.
Ravi, Rick Barnes' defense is suffocating, just like they did last year to Brandon Miller in this building. They're doing it to the entire Alabama team.
Yep.
Think about this. Alabama comes in making 12 threes a game at 42%. Alabama's only gotten off 5 threes in this game so far. They've only made 1. It's that airtight, suffocating defense by Rick Barnes that Alabama right now just cannot find their groove. They're getting off almost 30 attempts a ball game, and Tennessee shutting their water off at that three-point line has only allowed 5 attempts so far. It's a huge story in this game.
No doubt about it, and it's been 2 very high-powered offenses and 1 terrific defense. Although Alabama's defense is definitely getting better under Nate Oates. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Tennessee just wait. They refuse to go under ball screens in this game, as they should.
Mashack just took an elbow. He went to the ground and continued to try to get it inside. It's an offense that'll shoot threes and try to make layups, and that's it. And Griffin, good hard take, blocked from behind, and a late whistle. And they're going to get the foul against Freddie DeLeon, who came into the game. That's his first. And 2 free throws coming up.
Remember, those Alabama guards, when they get late clock, they will kind of back up a little bit and reload, and then bam, they're coming right at you. They get you isolated because you can't help off those next pass shooters. It becomes a one-on-one match, and Griffin won at that time to the rack.
So Rylan Griffin, one of the guys that is returning for this team. It's a very different looking team than last year. But he is one of the X factors in his ability to put the ball in the basket out of Richardson, Texas. See, he's gone up by about 4 points. They have to have second and third options offensively.
He's coming off of a career-high 21-point game against Missouri. And he was 6'4" on day 1 of Tuscaloosa's campus. He's now a little bit over 6'6", but a real weapon in the making for Nate Oates.
They'll switch Nelson. That leaves James open instead of taking the shot. Now he will. Off to the left. Griffin, good box out against Connect, and that's kind of a light foul on Connect. Didn't really push, but it saw Estrada go to the ground, and they get the whistle on 3 and white.
Yeah, but appreciate the box off by Griffin, because if he doesn't do his job, he doesn't get that foul right there called on Connect, and Connect just a little bit too much handsy, a little bit of a push. But man, that's how you have to box off Tennessee. All 5 guys on the rise of the shot. Go hit, find the ball second, you'll be in business.
Well, Alabama, I gave you 2 of their 3 offensive weapons. They like to drive the ball. They'll shoot threes, and they will shoot a ton of free throws. And here they are in the bonus already with 7 minutes to go in half number 1.
Yeah, it has always been a math equation for Nate Oates when he coaches, a former high school teacher in that area. But if you take away one of those 3, to me, you take away the 3. And can Alabama make enough rim twos and free throws to beat you, so be it. But you know Alabama can stroke it from 3. You got to take them out of it.
The next foul was his first, and that one rims out. Last 3 games for this kid, 28, 36, 39. Hard drive, and he could not convert, but he will shoot a couple. He ended up fading away. But that big 6'6" frame, 5th-year player, with all the accolades that he's receiving recently, it is amazing. You talk to the opposing coaches. Ask Nate Oates, did you know about Connect in the portal? Well, if we knew a little bit more, we would have been on him too. He's now keeping great company. 3 straight 25-point games, Lofton in 06, back-to-back 30, Lofton in 06. Allen Houston back-to-back 35-point games. And Jimmy has a great nugget on a former LSU star.
Well, first of all, this is a guy that on Sunday night, Rick Barnes pulled him in and said, hey, I coached a guy named Kevin Durant, and you're going to start being guarded like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So they watched about 30 minutes of film and started talking about go off your bounce with 1 less bounce.
All right, what about the LSU player?
Movement. Well, Connect is the first in the SEC.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 35-plus point games since Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, there's the nugget.
Yeah,
there's the nugget drop. Tough play by Griffin as he goes off the window with some nice touch, and Alabama's starting to string some points together.
One of the points that Barnes made with Connect with Durant, he said Kevin Durant is a long, tall player that plays low, and you need to start playing low off of your drives.
Mashack knifing his way in. Connect lays it up and in. Really good interior passing by a couple of the big men for Tennessee today. Sears, that's on Stevenson. He set an illegal screen on Mashack.
Yeah, Mashack went under, and Stevenson rolled him up. That's the proper call. Watch Connect. He drives the ball, but then gets right back into play, gets his butt to the baseline, becomes a big target for Mashack to find. And guys that are wired to score, just they have a knack.
Dalton Knecht is 5 of 10, Jimmy. How many points would you think he has? Quietly.
Quietly,
Yeah.
He got what, 12?
13 points already.
Yeah, that's him.
He's got 6'11" Nelson on him. Knecht pulls up. Just short. Great hustle by Gainey, but it's Nelson going one-on-one. Did he lose that out of bounds? He did. Another turnover. 10th turnover of the game for Alabama.
Tennessee not quite as gap heavy in this game as normal against Nate Oates' team. Respect for the 3 ball, but they're still really good. When you attack their gap, man, they come at you with hot hands. A good strip because of it.
Ziegler getting all sorts of minutes. So DeLeon, who's in the game now, is that backup point guard. May end up being a very important piece over the course of the season into the tournaments. If Ziegler has to have his minutes limited a little bit. Remember, he's coming off of big-time knee surgery, and he's now probably, what, 80, 90% compared to what he was?
Yeah, he's probably 90, maybe inching forward a little bit more than that. I mean, the explosiveness of him is back in his last 7 games. Double Z averaging 17 points and 6 assists. Pretty healthy numbers.
Coming up on 5 in the first half, and Griffin with the pick. That's where DeLeon's got to improve. Griffin takes it, he ripped it right away. He's got Knecht ahead of the field, and a throwdown. To give DeLeon credit, he had a turnover, stayed in it, and then ripped one back on his own. And this time a little too aggressive against Sears.
Well, I appreciate the effort and the fight back by DeLeon to come back with a strip. Right there, because he could have given up and felt sorry for himself with the turnover, but that's not how this culture is built at Tennessee. Man, this kid he's a lottery pick waiting to happen. If you're looking for what a future NBA 2 guard looks like, it's number 3 in white on his home floor this afternoon.
DeLeon to the bench. He picks up his 2nd foul. Ziegler back into the game. He's joined by Gainey, Jordan James, Knecht, and Meshack. Adu's been out since he picked up his 2nd foul. Jonas Adu sits on the bench with 10 points. Sears knocks that down. Yeah, usually you pencil a guy in for X number of points in a game. Starting to do that with Knecht and halves. He now has 6 consecutive halves with at least 15 points.
Well, he's the #1 scorer in the nation among Power 6 leagues since December 25th. He's averaging 25 points a game.
Yeah, 4 conference games, he's averaging 28.
Yeah, and he's doing it from everywhere. We've already seen it in this game.
Gainey knocked one down already. That's another, and that's just another weapon for Rick Barnes in his belt.
There's a lack of awareness by Alabama defensively to not be trailed and caboose that shooter to the corner.
Oh, bad pass, another terrible turnover. Knecht, here he comes again, lays it up, too strong, followed by Gainey.
Tennessee just outworking Alabama right now in the effort plays.
Griffin looking for an outlet, he does it himself.
No better way to silence a crowd driving than to get a no-pass, paint-touch basket like Alabama just did.
Gainey, good time block. Meshack, boy, they continue to clean up the mess. He lays that up and in. 2nd chance points heavily favoring Tennessee. Great drive by Sears as they come right back with an answer.
Yeah, back-to-back answers by Alabama. No pass, paint touch, and a bucket.
How about Gainey? Double figures in scoring today, 10 points. He is averaging 7 per game.
Knecht's been so good off of ball screen action.
Oh, he went up to dunk it. Nelson met him up high. And he certainly got ball, but he got body. And that will send Knecht to the free throw line and us to a timeout. When we come back, Dalton Knecht will be shooting 2 free throws, trying to get to 17 points in the first half.
Well, if you go over and you give a shooter like Gainey room in the corner, he's going to light you up. And that physical drive ability of Dalton Knecht gets him to the free throw line as we come out of this break.
I love the end of the game, no timeout. I think it helps the defense when you call timeout. Where are you on that?
Sure it does, yeah. Let him play. I mean, you have to practice that situation, obviously, but that ball goes through the net. You know exactly what you're doing with it. I'm just in love with Tennessee's defensive effort in this game. They have forced Alabama 12 turnovers, and here we are again. Alabama, Ravi, they've still only taken 5 threes in this game. They averaged 30 a game. That tells you how hot and how alert Tennessee's defense is so far in this first half.
It's a special team that he's got right now. We saw Gainey making shots into double figures already. Connect is good in what he does, 17 points, 1 of 5. And it's something they need in order to make a living and win games. Watch that defense out top. They go above every screen that gets set.
Well, and more important, they're guarding the ball. If you can't guard the ball, you can't guard the threes. Because as soon as you get that paint touch, you get a pretty good look. And man, Tennessee has pretty much deleting the drive ability of Alabama in this first half.
We're going to get a foul on Toby Awaka underneath. He was grabbing on to Nick Pringle. He's got 2. So does Adu and DeLeon for Tennessee. 2:54 to go. Tennessee has put 47 points up and still almost 3 minutes to go in the first half, Jimmy.
Well, they are the real deal. They've been tested, Tennessee, in non-conference play with the best of them. A couple of neutral floor losses out in Maui, and then you and I saw them get it put on them in Chapel Hill. But I mean, to me, North Carolina is playing as well as anybody in college basketball right now. They're another Final Four team. So Tennessee beyond tested to hold up in this rugged SEC this year.
Well, the other thing you want to circle when you look at the statistics, 8 offensive rebounds for Tennessee, 1 for Alabama, 9 second chance points for Tennessee, 9-1 for Alabama.
The team in white is a more physical team. Their screens are more physical. Their cuts are harder and faster.
Connect again, using that height against Griffin, backing him in. He will go up. No good. Hasn't been as sharp as he was in his last game, but he's still putting points up in a big way. Walters gets open for a 3. Is he a terrific 3-point shooter? Sam Walters. Out of the Villages in Florida. Walker camped out underneath. He's got Pringle on him. They have to fire it. Nelson had it. Here comes Griffin. He's got Nelson. Now it's Walters. Ziegler with a big board. Sears just basically ended up attacking Meshack in the corner. Talking about maturity too, his 5th year Connect, he would have taken that open 3 the other night, but I think he recognizes 6 of 14 today. And let's just see if somebody else can put it in. He opted to give up the basketball.
Well, Dalton Connect is a really good ball mover. Now, he finishes off a lot of their possessions, about 1 out of every 3, but he moves that ball. It doesn't stick with 3 at all. He's a hungry, thirsty scorer in the right way, but very, very unselfish team because of guys like Josiah Jordan-James, Santi Vescovi that have embraced the scoring ability of Connect. I love how Rick Barnes describes Josiah and Santi, says they're the 2 most unselfish people he's ever known.
Happy for Connect's success because it also means their own success. Sometimes that's a hard thing, especially with a new player.
Yeah.
All right, under 2 to go. See what Alabama can do, down by 12. Griffin, the drive, that ball was knocked away and it's out of bounds, and it will stay with Alabama. Contested at the rim that time. Griffin never got a clean shot.
So hard, Ravi, to get a straight line drive against Tennessee. I mean, even their drives right now are having to be rounded off just a little bit enough to allow the defense to rotate to the basketball and put you in a big crowd at the rim.
Big guy on the inbounds, that's Estrella. They'll throw it high to Nelson, who will go right up over Ziegler. Excellent, excellent inbounds play, recognizing who was going to be guarding Nelson, and it was Ziegler. He had no chance.
Yeah, I don't know why Ziegler was matched up on Nelson on the baseline out of bounds under. And a good read and recognition. And you look up, just a 10-point lead for Tennessee.
North of the border tonight, really good one. UFC 297 is in Toronto. It should be an unbelievable middleweight title main event. Main cards 10 Eastern, of course, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. The prelims are at 8 and 5 on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. You can order the main card in English and Spanish. Go to espnplus.com/ppv. 80 seconds to go, 47-37. Tennessee leading Alabama. Alabama unbeaten in conference at 4-0 and ranked very high. The analytics love them. They're number 5 in the net rankings. In fact, ahead of Tennessee. James no good. Loose ball, another offensive rebound. Gainey's got a chance. Three looks really good today from Gainey. As Jordan Gainey up to 13 points in the first half. How about another turnover? They are rattled.
That's as good as you can guard the ball that you're going to see in college basketball, not only today, but maybe for the next month. What Tennessee does, man, they set down in a stance, and look how they keep their hips squared up. They're not forcing you one way or another. They square you up as their term. We hear it time and time again in practice. Square them up, square them up, square them up. Man, you can't do it any better than 15 in white.
13 first half turnovers for Alabama, and they trail by 13. About a 7-second differential between the game clock and Tennessee's shot clock.
And shooters everywhere on the floor for Zakai Ziegler to work with. Now connect. Those two guys in ball screens have been good lately for Tennessee to close out a half.
They switch Pringle on him. Connect penetrates and a near turnover. They got to fire it up, and that's an air ball off the side. So Alabama will get it with 6 seconds to go here in the first half. And they will bring their shooters back in, Walters and Sears.
Plenty of time for 5 or 6 dribbles for Alabama. If you're Tennessee, I extend this up a little bit right here, but you don't want to turn it into a foot race. Keep the ball in front.
Well, now Nate Oates is going to take a quick time out here to talk about set up a play with 6 seconds to go. He's got good shooters on the floor with Griffin and Walters in each corner. Reitzel can make a shot as well.
Well, and Nate Oates also has time to drive the ball and get to the free throw line, because that's what's keeping Alabama in it right now. They're 11 out of 15 from the charity stripe. Tennessee, as great as they are defensively, they still foul too much. They're allowing opponents 18 points a game from the free throw stripe. It's keeping Roll Tide in the game this afternoon.
Tennessee's offense is averaging about 80 points a game. And as you've made the point, Barnes talks about this team and he uses the adjective unselfish to describe them all. Now he's looking about assists to turnovers and that ratio, and right now they got 13 assists.
I like what Rick Barnes has done. He's going to back his defense up instead of getting it spread out and turn it into a foot race. His defense is set. There's the difference. Instead of extending that defense, your defense is set with 6 seconds to go. Just be solid.
Sears behind his back, and that's Walters. That ball was maybe deflected by James. It came up short. And a 50 spot put up by Tennessee in half number 1 against Alabama.
A really good last 6-second adjustment by Rick Barnes, because at one point he had his defense extended to three-quarter court. They call timeout, they back it off, and just play solid to get a late clock stop.
KC, he averages 28 in conference in 4 games. Dalton Knecht has 17. Balanced scoring for Tennessee as they are rolling the Tide right now. Back to you, Seth and Jay in the studio. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. A little snow on the outside of Knoxville the last week. Kids haven't been in school. And the kids haven't been in this university either. They're still on break, but many have rolled back in to watch Alabama and Tennessee. The numbers really do tell it all. They have taken nearly twice as many field goal attempts, Tennessee, You see the free throws, which Alabama has relied on. The turnovers and the points off turnovers have been a huge part of the story. And you knew coming in, Jimmy, that Alabama's offense is elite. So is Tennessee's defense. And right now it feels like Tennessee's defense is winning the day.
Yeah, an awfully rugged group, right? Tennessee on the defensive end. That's where the game has changed right now and why we have the deficit for Alabama. This defense is relentless. Alabama has only taken 9 3-point shots in this game. They average getting off 29. So they've taken the airspace away from the 3-ball. Tennessee guarding the ball with vengeance. They're not over-helping. They're staying attached. And then they switch, Ravi, they're up to touch on the switch, making life very difficult for this team from Tuscaloosa to maneuver through.
Alabama is a 39% three-point shooting team for the year, and they are 2 of 9. That's 22% in the first half. And remember, Jonas Aidoo played less than half in the first half with 2 fouls. He's back on the floor. See what Nate Oates did to adjust, and well, if you start up by saying I want Sears to have an uncontested layup, then that game plan worked.
Yeah, he gets Sears to his left paw, and he puts a little bit of traffic over there for Tennessee to maneuver through. And one in red ends up at the rim.
When Aidoo's in the game, they like to see Vescovi penetrate and then dump it down to 0. This time it's Connect, high arcing 3 and an air ball. He is off today, even though he's got 17 points. Sears has got 9. He's the conference's leading scorer, and this time a cross-court kick to Griffin. He got hung up in the air, and Connect gets fouled by Estrada.
What a nice defensive play by Jonas Aidoo. And Jonas Aidoo has gone up against the best centers in the country. Zach Edey, Hunter Dickinson, Armando Bacot, Tolu Smith. Watch how he protects the rim. That's a pretty strong, fast baseline drive, but the principle of verticality by Aidoo to go straight up, elbows by the ears to stay out of foul trouble. A tremendous rim protector is 0 in white.
Estrada picks up his first, and awareness from Aidoo to realize this is somebody who's not going to go over me.
Yep.
Connect down low. They get a push from behind, or was it Nelson up front? Looks like they call it on Nelson, and that is the 3rd foul on the 6'11 senior out of North Dakota State who transferred in. He's had a very quiet day with just 3 points.
Dalton Connect continues. I know he's having a little bit of an off day in our eyes. He has scored 118 points in the last 122 minutes that he's played. Pretty good ratio.
Yeah, Aidoo with a height advantage. Pringle trying to lock him up. Vescovi, great handoff to James, and Nelson now picks up his 4th foul. James hit the ground pretty hard, and he's helped up off of it. 4 fouls now on Grant Nelson.
And he is, 2 in red, their best rim protector, not because he's a physical kid, but he's long and he's quick off of his feet. And they no longer have a Bediako, Alabama, to clean up those layup attempts.
Yeah, last year, a different team, right?
Yeah.
Bediako and Clowney and Miller.
Well, and because of it, Alabama was really good last year, Ravi, in drop coverage off of ball screens. They can't get away with it this year. They don't have the shot blocking ability, so they've had to start impacting the ball with that defender in any ball screen action.
So a man who's got 25 blocks this season. Nelson goes to the bench. Josiah James has made his first. Rims out the second. Walters, very good shooter, now back into the game. Sam Walters knocked down a couple of threes in the first half. Now threaded the needle, and I think Walters was even surprised it got through all those hands.
A really good job by Josiah Jordan James as he was denying the heck out of Walters, and Walters with a hard, fast back cut. Josiah whips those eyes around.
15 turnovers. If you were Oates, what would you tell your team at half? Good pass from Connect to Aidoo. What would you say to them?
I would tell them that we have to run the ball up the floor. That was good offense for us in the first half, where they had several possessions of no pass paint touches that got them to the free throw line.
Estrada, no good, and it's getting to be a dangerous time right now for Alabama. With Nelson on the bench with 4, Ziegler one-on-one. Great defense by Sears. Estrada somehow got it up over Aidoo. What a shot. Vescovi started out this game red hot. He passes up the 3 and now gets it to his buddy Adu. 10 on the shot clock when Ziegler resets. Alley-oop. A little high for James. Adu's got to shoot it, and he gets it to go with about a second left on the shot clock.
How about the awareness of Adu to understand, I got to get this thing up with a hurry. Man, has he developed as an offensive weapon for Rick Barnes from last year?
Jonas Adu, 14 points. Griffin, he traveled. He tried to drag that foot instead of stopping on it. It rolled on him. And another turnover, their 16th of the game.
Watch Adu right here for a 7-footer to think the game like a point guard and have an awareness. And the soft kiss off the high square. When you use the backboard, Ravi, you miss if you don't get it up high enough. And Adu did a good job at that time of a high release, but kept it high on the board as well.
Walters was in the game, Jimmy. He's now out of the game. Mohamed Diabate comes in number 10 in crimson.
Tell you what, Dalton Knecht, he's not Rick Barnes' best defender, but he's climbing up the charts. And you really break down his game, Knecht defensively. The guy he's guarding right now is averaging about 0.6 points per play. That's a really good defensive number that Knecht is starting to throw at people.
Yeah, Griffin, 21 in his last game, air ball here. And there's a foul against Griffin, who seems a little disengaged today relative to his performance against Missouri.
When you play Alabama, you've got to win the foot race to the ball off those missed threes, or Alabama will kill you with their second three-point attempt of a possession. And Tennessee has been alert. They're not getting sucked in. They're doing a good job of defensively rebounding the elbows.
Griffin goes to the bench now for Nate Oates. And as he does, you look at Griffin's numbers, 2 of 5, 7 points. Knecht with a cut. Left hand, no good again. 4 fouls committed by Alabama in this half. Tennessee hasn't committed any. Spin move right into Adu, who met him at the rim. Ziegler wide open, no good. It stays with Tennessee. Crowd came to its feet after that tremendous block by Adu. Diabate denied at the iron.
Yeah, Jonas Adu says you can't do if I'm have anything to do with it. And Jonas Adu, man, his versatility as a defender to protect the rim, guard shooters.
LSU and South Carolina 1v10 from Baton Rouge. You know what you certainly are reminded of every year when you get into conference play, how hard it is to win on the road. Thursday night, South Carolina is going to be tested by going into Baton Rouge, but that's certainly been what we've witnessed here through the start of the SEC conference.
Yeah, no doubt. South Carolina, their average margin of victory right now is by 40. By 40 points.
Ziegler, whoop, little step back and the roll of the eye from Jaren Stevenson. Like, what? Really? 17-point lead. Sears hasn't been able to, he has not been able to get free. Vescovi there. Adu, and that's 2 free throws coming up, and you can see the frustration right now for Alabama.
Well, Zakai Ziegler, talked about in the first half, his last 7 games, 17 points, 6 assists, and a couple of steals, shooting 40% from the 3. So it's Knecht, it's Gainey, it's Ziegler. We know Vescovi can get going. The best offensive team that Rick Barnes has had in his time as the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers is on the floor this afternoon.
Adu misses the free throw, and it's almost as if Nate Oates continues to just figure out which button's going to be pressed. He brings Sears out of the game. In spite of the fact that he told you he's 100%, I'm not certain that ankle's 100%.
Well, the Tennessee defense hasn't helped it
No,
to get
it
to
has
100% either. You know, Admiral Schofield, Grant Williams, that's a good offensive team as well, but they were different. This Tennessee team has some explosiveness about them that Rick Barnes has not had here in Knoxville.
16 Alabama turnovers, and Tennessee has turned them into 16 points. Every pass, every drive is contested. Ziegler's going to get called for the foul. He locked up Jaron Stevens, but he got a lot of arm. And that's only Tennessee's first team foul. You talked about how that was something Rick Barnes wanted to address. Well, they got one right now.
Well, the next step for Tennessee's defense is to continue to clamp down and defend without fouling.
Now they got two. That was a quickie.
It's those type of fouls, though, that Rick Barnes wants to eliminate. He doesn't mind the hard fouls at the rim and making you earn layups, but those reach fouls with the offensive players back to the basket, those things got to be taken out of this Tennessee team.
Walters gets the handoff. He looks to drive against Adu. He may have gotten a hand on that. Pringle misses down low, out of bounds. It'll be Tennessee basketball. Not for lack of effort from Alabama, but unable to convert down low.
Yeah, but the anchor defensively, Jonas Adu, major impact in this game. He has switched out high and hot on ball handlers. He's guarded the point guard. He's eliminated layup attempts at the rim with his block shot ability, a difference maker on that end of the floor.
Connect uses a ball fake, and it's to Vescovi for a three. Too strong, loose ball. That one is out of bounds, and it'll be Alabama basketball. Went off of the leg of Dalton Connect. Number 3 has not shot well today, just 6 of 16. We got more college hoop Monday. North Carolina, Hubert Davis' team, number 4 in the country against Wake Forest. And Kansas will take on Cincinnati. It'll be 7 and 9 o'clock Eastern time. Should be another great night of hoops, and obviously available on the ESPN app as well.
North Carolina, UConn, Kentucky, Tennessee, those 4 teams just in the last week have really grabbed my attention in terms of how well they're playing.
And balance, right?
Absolutely.
Sears kicks it. Estrada doesn't take the 3. James closed on him. More contest. He throws it up and in. He's very, very crafty, is Estrada.
Good with that pivot foot, right? Estrada.
Yeah. Yep.
Just turns till he gets a free look.
Seven on the shot clock. Hands and a turnover. And Estrada, the crowd thought he walked. Reitzel. No good. And Connect 1 on 3. Not stopping, and he got fouled. Boy, like a train, he said, I don't care who's in front of me. He took it to the hole with 3 defenders around him.
Rabbi, he has big-time speed. Connect does. He's one of those kids that's faster with the ball than without. But when he gets it with the crowd, look, I mean, he just wins the foot race and gets in front of both Sears and Reitzel. And such a hard guard. And no Division I offers his senior year in high school. He was a 5'4" freshman, but what makes him hard to guard? Several key things that are going to be a real nightmare all winter long in the SEC. What does he do well? These 3 things right here. He absolutely has pro lift on his jump shot. He's 6'6" with a lot of pop and explosiveness up top. He's a fast, physical, long finisher, driving the ball. And that mentality of Kevin Durant, again, to shoot every shot with conviction. And he's doing a lot of film study on Durant under Rick Barnes in terms of being a tall guy, playing low, getting to your spot in 2 dribbles instead of 3, just the finer parts of an offensive score, and now Connect is going to that next level.
Yeah, Barnes talked about a look in the eye. He said the only other guy I've seen that same look was Durant, who of course he coached at Texas. And Connect now 19 points. Sears step back, high arcer, way too strong and off. It's an air ball. Don't you have to wonder about the impact of that prior ankle injury on Sears and his ability to shoot?
Yes. But again, it's Tennessee's defense, to me, has been more of the problem than maybe his ankle not being full speed. There's nowhere to go, Ravi. Tennessee has guarded the ball in this game as well as they've guarded all year. I'll be surprised if Rick Barnes doesn't say the same thing, because if you can't guard the ball, you can't guard the 3. And that's why Tennessee's been so good today, taking away the 3 ball of Alabama.
Right. Dalton Connect has a little blood on his elbow, so both teams are going to use this as an opportunity to talk to each other. Here's that tight defense you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, that step back by Sears is as good as we have in this league. And Zakai Ziegler just ate it up, just sucked him up as a defender and forced a really tough one.
61-43, Tennessee is on top. And again, these games, the last half dozen against Alabama, have been decided by single digits. There's nothing to indicate that this one is going to end up that way.
And you're starting to see Tennessee with arguably the best defensive point guard in college basketball, Ziegler, and maybe the best defensive 5 guy in college basketball, Adu. He's playing that well.
And that was a really pretty play between Sears, who then dumped it off to Mohamed Wegi, who laid it up and in off the window. Ziegler found a hole, and he takes it all the way to the rack.
That's that butt screen that Tennessee works off of 2 or 3 times a half. And if you get lazy with it, you give up a layup every time. Really well done by Zakai Ziegler and Adu.
Sears over Adu. Boy, between he and Estrada, that hesitation left-handed hook with Adu jumping has been awfully impressive.
Ravi, but if you're Tennessee, you can live with those. You're
Sure.
making them take tough twos as opposed to the 3 ball.
The big fella missed the 3, and the loose ball, Walters is able to grab it.
I mean, Tennessee's just saying, we don't think you can make enough tough twos to come back in this game.
Boy, that was a pass ultimately from Ziegler. Good pass and a good cut by Reitzel, and that's one extra pass. He lost the ball. 3-on-1 and a dunk. Alabama trying to come right back, and a good force by Sears, who will go to the free throw line. He charged at Gainey. And that's their MO. If the other team scores a bucket, we want to try to score one 3 seconds later.
Watch Zakai Ziegler off the butt screen of Adu, gets downhill with that right paw. Meshack seals off at the rim for an easy 2. And Dalton Knecht, again, his speed is very underrated. With the ball, without the ball, phenomenal scoring guard right now at the college level.
Tomorrow over on the SEC Network, women's basketball triple dip. We got these 2 games we're going to highlight. Lady Vols, who host Vandy right here at this Food City Center, formerly known as Thompson Bowling Arena. That's at 3 Eastern. And then number 1 South Carolina will take on A&M. Right now, projections have the Lady Vols as one of the first 4 out.
Now, I spent about 8 straight days with Pat Summitt, maybe 15, 20 years ago, covering the WNBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And we talked ball the entire time. I remember her telling me, Jimmy, do you know that 90% of the time when you're playing ball, you don't have the ball? And to her point, that's basketball.
As an individual, you don't have the ball?
As an individual, you don't have the ball. So what are you doing the 90% of the time that you don't have the ball? And she dug real deep into all the things that you should be doing when that ball's not in your hands. And what a special lady, beautiful coach that she was.
Connecting Ziegler, 2-man game, 3 short, and Griffin rips down a rebound.
Like, think of Adu today. He's had the ball less than 8% of the time in this game.
Watch out, Meshack and Knecht, the alley-oop. Knecht, he has to go off the window.
2 good options, though.
Yes.
Knecht or Meshack.
18 Alabama turnovers. Tennessee's got 20 points.
And look at that Tennessee defense. Any ball screen, they are up to touch. High, hot, and heavy defensive team today, taking away the 3.
Frustration. Sears on the ground. That's just a straight turnover, and that is number 19 for Alabama.
Yeah, that's just a recipe for getting blown out on the road in the SEC against anybody. But you got Meshack running down the middle of the pipe, and Dalton Knecht with a catch-up speed on the left side.
Sears was very upset that he didn't get a foul called against him when he drove to the basket, and he got a little piece of Ziegler, and he was kind of making a statement right there to Vladimir Voyard-Tadal, who blew the whistle. That may have been Bart Lennox, the official, who blew him there. But Sears is obviously having a tough day for a kid that's in the conversation for SEC Player of the Year. Free throw missed, couple of bodies go down. And Sears will pull up for a three. Mashack was right there to contest it. It'll be Alabama ball, and you can just feel an uptick right now in intensity on the floor between these two teams. A very frustrated Alabama club.
Well, there's no back down on any film that you put on when Nate Oates' guys are playing or Tennessee. And Tennessee will keep the gas on. There's plenty of time left for Alabama to come back in this game. Again, they average making 12 threes a game. Now, Tennessee has taken away from them today. They've only made 2. But Alabama, the fear when you're playing them, Ravi, is they can make 3 or 4 threes in a 90-second period, and all of a sudden the lead goes from 19 to 10 just like that.
Connect out of the game. Vescovy back in. Yeah, Alabama is 2 of 14 from three-point land, and a chance there for a three-point play, but Gainey foul, and that'll send to the line to shoot 2, Latrell Wrightsell. The team shoots nearly 40% from 3. Nearly 40%, and today 2 of 14. Tennessee 7 of 23, but they've gotten points a lot more in the paint too, with Adu and with Connect today, who hasn't knocked down the threes you used to see.
So Alabama has only gotten off 14 three-point shots, and we're halfway through the second half. They average 29 attempts, and that's the difference in the game, is Tennessee's just relentless pursuit of the ball as three-point defenders.
17-point cushion. And both Adu and Estrella, the 2 7-footers, are on the bench. Waka is a wall down there. He got great position, and that caused Wagi to foul him. Interesting notes that we've had over the course of this SEC conference season. And the analytics have spit this out, which is an interesting one. The ESPN BPI has Auburn as the best chance to win the SEC. Alabama was second, as Mashack puts that up and in. Tennessee and Kentucky third and fourth. Today certainly doesn't give you that feel, does it?
Nor did it earlier in the week when I saw that graphic. I mean, I think it has to obviously take into effect of the unbalanced schedule that's in the SEC right now. But for Tennessee to be the number 3 team in terms of the favorite to win the league, I'm not agreeing with what that analytic is telling us.
Nate Oates is screaming there. Terry Oglesby, he had a jump ball, and it felt like on the baseline, Boyar Tadal was ready to call a 2-shot foul, so he is continuing to yell at Terry Oglesby.
Since Nate Oates has been hired at Alabama, the SEC has given out 7 trophies. He's won 4 of them, 2 regular season and 2 SEC tournament trophies.
Mashack, ball fake, travel. Mentioned the games coming up, and you could circle a number of them. LSU is really hard to beat at home. Kentucky, again, gets Big Z has been cleared to play. Vondermeer may be seeing action for Kentucky against Georgia. And Ole Miss Auburn, 8:30 Eastern tonight on SEC Network. A terrific ball game.
Well, Georgia's good enough to go into and win.
Yep.
They don't beat themselves. Mike White's guys offensively, man. He got that kid Noah Thomas and can go get a bucket. And Kentucky better not be celebrating Vondermeer Ivisic being eligible. They better be locked in on how difficult that game's going to be.
Gainey couldn't get that one to go. 17-point lead. Alabama needs points and stops. Estrada sees a lane. High arcer, no good. And we'll keep it here. Foul on the floor. We'll see it maybe on a Waka.
The one area that Alabama has punched back against Tennessee is in that conversion offense, quickly from defense to offense. No passes. The guy bringing it up, Ravi, is finding some good opportunities in this game to drive the ball to the rim and making Tennessee foul.
Waka's third. And Adu back into the game. Barnes has been able to afford the luxury of getting some minutes on the bench for some of his guys like Adu. And there's a quick foul, so all of a sudden it feels like the officials are more alert to some of the grabbing and holding that's going on. We're going to get Gainey there. Connect comes in. Ziegler goes out.
Tennessee will grab and hold off of every baseline out of bounds under play. They are the most physical team in this league in this situation. body on body at all 5 spots.
Sears switched onto by Vescovi. Estrada all the way to the rack, too strong. Gainey, great bounce pass, connect. Couldn't convert, but he will shoot 2. How about that pass from Jordan Gainey on a bounce?
That advanced pass ahead has been on point for Tennessee in this game. This time it's Gainey right there. That is a very difficult pass on the fly. A one-handed bounce pass. It comes right up waist level to connect. Bam. Yeah, that run game of Tennessee has gone to another level this year with Connect. And how many times has he gotten out in front of Alabama's defense, right, to lead the charge?
You mentioned it. He's very fast. And has an ideal NBA prototype 2-guard body. Free throw is good for Dalton Connect. And just like that, he's sneaking up into that 30-point territory now with 25 in the game. He's only made 1 3-point shot.
Rick Barnes told him Sunday night in a film session, one-on-one, get ready. The SEC is going to come at you, and you better figure it out.
Griffin, baseline, that time denied by Gainey, and here he comes. Every possession, bodies end up on the floor.
And every rim shot by Alabama is severely challenged.
Adu, too easy. They're up by 20 plus right now, their largest lead of the game.
And that ball screen dive action with Adu is becoming very difficult to handle.
Sears the drive, and he will have a chance for a 3-point play. No give up in Mark Sears.
But again, Tennessee, you're forcing Alabama to make some ridiculously hard, tough twos. So be it. You're not giving up the 3-point shot. The ball screen action by Adu, and then the quick reversal of the ball from Santi to Adu is just ridiculously hard to recover to. And you can live with those shots when you're playing Alabama. They make those hard, tough twos off balance. So be it. Do not let them get going from the 3-point line.
Sears stuck on 14 points. They have shot fairly well. You know, they had shot in the first half over 50%. This half a little bit down, 7 for 19. A 19-point cushion for Tennessee. They were about a 5.5-point favorite coming into this game. Connect has Sears on him. You can tell each guy relishing this matchup. Connect tried to bull through him, and Sears won that battle. Sears creates a little space. His three's been off all day. Tipped up, no good. And out of bounds off Alabama. Maybe a 19-point game, but you couldn't tell from the intensity. Both Alabama and Tennessee.
High feet, Ravi.
I can tell.
High feet.
They were a little feisty down there. I saw Game Day Today earlier. Terrific show. A lot of opinions. Seth and Jay Williams. Good combo with the pride of Ithaca College, Kevin Connors. Ray Carter was in there. Jay Billis from the site. Good game day today.
Former Vol.
Yeah. Vescovi with a cut. Gainey will kick. 8 on the shot clock. Vescovi, they're going to have to get rid of it, so it's Adu with the left. Boy, what a release valve he is.
Tennessee got that ball to the 4th side of the floor, and finally Adu finishes it off.
Jimmy, how about 19 points on 9 of 13 shooting for Adu, who's just a totally different player this year. And there's a deflection from Adu and a foul. He got his hands up there on defense.
Well, Connect has changed the team this year, and so has the growth of Jonas Adu. He has such a good set of paws, does Adu, and Tennessee just finally reverses it to the 3rd to the 4th side of the floor right here, and bam, Adu, quick in and out of his hands for a 7-footer. Another thing that Rick Barnes drills with his big guys over and over and over. How fast can you get it in and out of your hands above the rim?
Shooting 52% from the floor on the season, and again today much more efficient. 9 of 13.
A year ago, the leg strength of Adu was an area that he needed to grow, and under the strength coach, Coach G, we call him, Adu now You don't knock him off balance. He makes plays through traffic. He's a contact guy at the rim, wins those collisions. A big reason why Tennessee's sitting there as the #6 team in the country.
Yeah, Coach G. Garrett Maidenwald gets these guys in as good a shape as any guy in the country does for their team. And another turnover and another foul and more frustration for Nate Oates. Been a bumpy ride for Nate Oates this last week. He continues to jaw with the official here. And Tuesday, watch him right there push Aiden Shaw out of the Alabama huddle. And that led to a reprimand from the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey. There was no fine or suspension. And you again go back to game day today, and the guys there echoed their thoughts on what they saw. One of them was, you don't belong in the other team's huddle, and the other was, there are better ways to handle it than pushing the guy out of the way as the head coach. And he did apologize immediately after the game. What was your take on that?
Well, he did. To me, Nate's very fortunate that he didn't at least get an unsportsmanlike technical foul called against him, because if that's 2 players, then that's an automatic. And I think you've got to go to the monitor and see that. And I would expect going forward, if that were to happen again, that would escalate to an unsportsmanlike technical foul. Nate Oates knows you never put your hands on another team's players, and Missouri wasn't right being in the huddle, but Nate crossed the line. He immediately recognized it after the game, apologized to him. He's a fiery guy that made a mistake in the heat of the moment, and Commissioner Sankey strongly came out quickly reprimanding Nate Oates. And this time of the year, tempers get short, but Alabama will be back, not in this game, but a talented team that just got knocked around by one of the top 5 teams in the country.
And Nelson has fouled out of the game. And the 24-point lead, largest of the game for Tennessee. Alabama's got a big game with Auburn, too, next Wednesday, which you'll see on our network. And you wonder if you start to think about giving Sears some time in this, what has become a blowout. And again, just any rest for that ankle as he misses another shot.
Sorry, think about Alabama today, where they 2 out of 14 from the 3-point line. Their season low in makes is 4 made threes against Creighton when they went 4 for 22.
Yeah, connect. That's deflected there at the rim. Good job by Wagi. Griffin high arcing 3. That's no good. Rylan Griffin's had a rough night, given he had 21 in his last game, and it felt like maybe he was going to show some consistency on the scoring side. But again, credit that Tennessee defense today. Vescovy step back 3, great rotation, and he knocks it in.
He is so good off of a ball fake into a 3-point shot, whether it's off the bounce or the ball fake sidestep. He's actually better at that than just a pure catch and shoot.
Another drive by Sears, lays it up and in, takes a 27-point lead down to 25.
Why does Tennessee continue to foul?
Yeah,
at
great
an
question.
Alarming rate. Watch Vesky right here, because he is so good at shot faking and then sidestep, one bounce, either direction. Really, he can go right or left into a 3. And you talk about connect and all you want, Ziegler, Adu. This guy right here still.
He's a glue guy.
He absolutely is, and he'll have some games this year in SEC play. You look up, and he's got 20 or 25 points.
Yeah. He just did to Sears what Sears has done to everybody this year with that one step back 3-point shot. Some of the Orange start head to the exits here at the Food City Center.
When was the last Orange out, you said, during football season?
Yeah, against Alabama, 2022.
How'd that work out?
I'm guessing it's going a lot better today. Connect, high arcing 3, and he has just been, he's been off. It's so odd to say a guy's been off when he's got 25 points. But we saw that show the other night with the 39. Sears has 2 guys on him, so that frees up Reitzel in a ball fake. Tipped back up and in inside. And that was Nick Pringle. Statement game for Tennessee on the larger scale, because Alabama came in unranked knowing a win on the road would likely get him into the rankings.
Yeah, no doubt. In Tennessee, it's ridiculously hard from a coaching standpoint as Mashack fires away from three again to get your guys to play this hard defensively with this much discipline and this much toughness. And Tennessee has been a clinic today guarding the ball. They've been beaten a few times, but man, overall, they have squared them up and taken away the three-point shot of Alabama.
We're under 4, another foul, another break. And I believe after the break, either the Open or Rue is going to be part of the program.
The Rooster.
Thank you very much. Back here, it's a blowout. Tennessee has been all over Alabama. The second half has been more of the same. Alabama's three-point shooting will be one of the things that people will circle. 2 of 16 for a team that shoots 40%. That's 12. That's 12%. And give Tennessee's great defense a lot of credit. They have shut them down.
Yeah, and how many of those 16 three-point attempts have been really good ones? I mean, just a handful. They've had to take a lot of guarded threes in this game. Tennessee defense is just relentless. It is their oxygen. I know they're a high-powered offensive team this year, but their breath and their soul, their DNA on the defensive end of the floor.
Vescovi has been terrific today. Feels like he's got 15, 20 points. He's got 8, but he's been involved in so many. And here's another opportunity. He does that as well as anybody. And it just comes up short. He is the master of the ball fake, shot fake, isn't he?
You want him taking every one of them if you're Rick Barnes with Vescovi, and shoot with confidence and conviction like Connect.
2 of 17 from 3. Griffin down low. That time they let him have it. He missed it. And Vescovi has the rebound. And there will be a foul, an unnecessary one on Alabama. So, Jimmy, with that pause in the action, let's go back to the first half when we were having this conversation about the Dykes dog, and we talked about Jaron Stevenson's size 19 shoe and how Rue could fit in the shoe and go down the Tennessee.
There's no doubt. She weighs 7 pounds. I'm sure she's watching back home, a rescue dog. But she can no doubt fit in the size 19 sneaker
she
of Jaron
is beautiful.
Stevenson. And
she gets the right wind in those ears, man. You can go. Those are like sails. That's beautiful.
She could fly from Fayetteville to Knoxville if the wind is right. Exactly right. That's our pause in the action this week.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Some dog food to sponsor pause in the action during the Jimmy Dykes college hoop games.
What was our first one? It was Trey Mitchell at Kentucky with Aura.
Yeah.
The Portuguese water dog that doesn't like water.
Right. Good night, my love. That was famous.
Tennessee's the real deal, Ravi. I mean, not because of this game, but who they've played, how they've played, what they've gone up against. The offensive firepower that Rick Barnes has this year changes how a lot of people, including me, will look at this team come March. They are more than capable of a deep, deep run.
South Carolina's good. That's a massive game, February 3rd at 8. And that's on ESPN against Kentucky. And it's at Kentucky, then LSU, and at A&M on February 10. So one of the questions, too, that they asked the analysts on game day, if today you had to pick a national champion, who would you pick? There was some great block by Adu. He was challenged, and he was up to the challenge.
The recovery length, speed of Adu, the recovery effort. You can blow by him. It's not easy. He opens up his hip, but all that it does is allow him to get to the offhand of Sears. Man, the long reach. What a weapon around that rim.
4 blocks to go with his 19 points. Sears knocks down a 3. Most complete team that wins the championship today.
Well, I haven't seen the bracket, first of all, but I do love UConn.
Yep.
I like how they're playing with Klingenbach. I think they are still finding their groove. And as well as they're playing, they're not a finished product. Kentucky still has a tremendous upside. This Tennessee team is the real deal, and they're not so far out of it where they won't end up being a 1 seed as well. But all those teams, I'm not sold on Houston. I think they're going to get knocked around a little bit more in the Big 12 this year, but I'm a big believer in North Carolina. Those 8 teams right there. It's interesting again. We talked about it a few weeks ago. The Week 6 AP poll, the top 12 in the Week 6 AP poll, I think since 2003 has come out of those 12 teams. Tennessee was one of those 12.
Now, I would say that given where we live in the SEC, but early in the year had done a handful of Connecticut games, the two most well-rounded and complete teams that I've seen in person are Tennessee and Connecticut.
North Carolina, we were impressed with them as well that night.
I did. I'd like to see them be a little bit more consistent, and they have started to play that way. And maybe again, it's recency bias, because there was a game we saw they didn't play well and one they played great in. Tennessee just seems to keep getting better right now with more options. Gainey was a big part of today's story, and that guy right there down low has been a consistent, solid performer for them.
Ravi, there's another sneaky good team right now in Auburn that comes up tonight against Ole Miss at home.
Haven't seen them in person, but yes.
I love them. They went into Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas lost again at home today on their home floor, but they opened up SEC play. Auburn did with a 32-point whooping against the Razorbacks. And Bruce will be the first to tell you he's not so sure he has the best starting five in the league, but he might have the best 11. Boy, that bodes well in the rugged sled ride that it's going to be over the next few weeks.
Vescovi and Adu out of the game with a minute 34 to go. Estrella will come in. He hasn't gotten a lot of minutes today, but they love his potential down low. Huge body, JP Estrella, who has the ball now out top. Ole Miss Auburn is a really good game tonight on the SEC network. It'll be interesting to see if Big Z gets into the game for Kentucky. Cleared again by the NCAA to add another 7+ foot weapon as DeLeon delights those that are still here. Another 7+ weapon to go with Bradshaw and Onyenso.
Ravi, Tennessee has gotten to the third or fourth side of their offense multiple times, especially in the second half. And Tennessee, they have stayed out of defensive rotations in this game. It's not easy to do against Alabama, but that's the discipline that Tennessee plays with. Tennessee probably the best in college basketball at staying out of a defensive rotation, and they were there again today.
Connect is going to be open if he wanted it. His defender fell down. And they get 5 on the shot clock with Ziegler kicking. DeLeon gets it off awkwardly, but it goes down. And they're going to give him a 3 on that. 91 against Alabama. Nate Oates in Alabama, Jimmy, they had some airplane troubles getting here. They finally figured it out after about a 3-hour wait. I'm not sure it's going to be any more pleasant on the flight home with a plane that's working correctly.
No, they're going to have to get better defensively, Alabama, because they're not going to just have the ability to outscore some people in this league, at least the best ones.
Awfully impressive performance from the Volunteers of Tennessee. Final score, a 20-point win, 91-71. For our entire crew, Jimmy Dykes, fun to hang out with Kennedy Dykes. I'm Carl Ravitch saying so long from Knoxville, Arizona, UCLA with Bob and Sean. Pick it up now.